Welcome everybody to the
And I
Second
said,
Mouthful
hey, what a wonderful kind of day.
Lounge, episode number 138 with Addie and Pink.
Hey there.
And soon.
Hey.
Yep. Alright.
One of these days, I'm just gonna freaking just sing all of Hello from Adele as an intro.
I'm half expecting the fucking dancing frog routine from Looney Tunes. And you'll be doing it behind the mic too, the dance with the top hat and the cane and everything. Alright. Pink, you got anything going up on your channel?
Not that I'm aware of.
Addie!
No.
Shit. Alright. On the main group channel, we got on Monday, we have got Supreme Commander Part 2 going up.
Alright.
Pretty good recording. On Tuesday, we got Fighting Games R for Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. Excuse me.
Oh, baby.
And on math. Hang on, I have to run numbers in my head.
That's not fun.
Oh, I hate it.
I hate math.
On Thursday, we have got the Forum of Solitude GTA 5 Experience. A video which has apparently been copyright claimed, but fuck it, we're uploading it anyways. Fuck you.
It's in copyright claimed for using deja vu for like half a minute, which, fair. But the thing is, the thing that's weirding me out about it, and I think it's a YouTube issue, and I don't actually think that's how they claimed it, because you'd expect the rights owners to put ads on it so they can get money from it, which makes sense. No, the video is banned in freaking like Dania.
Oh. Well, we can't have any Danians getting 30 minutes of fucking 30 seconds of that for free, damn it.
And the reason I think it's a YouTube bug is because every freaking single video of us that has a copyright claim on it, warranted or not, all of them, instead of just normal things, all of them are freaking blocked in Dania. So,
no, that is interesting.
Aside from one video, which is the Sony press conference that soon W and I did, that the one where we announced all of the games. That's the
where we announced them personally.
Yes.
Yeah, they had to call us up and make a deal. We hamstrung them for more cash though.
I believe it.
But yes, so that one has a claim on it because multiple publishers wanted to track where people are watching the trailers from, which makes sense, and that didn't change. So I don't know what the hell is going on. I guess just YouTube really doesn't like freaking Danish people.
Wait, you've been calling it oh, okay.
Yeah, Dania is the Latin name for Denmark. I have no idea why. Maybe in Hungarian it's Dania.
Yeah, in Hungarian it's Dania, and I forgot that freaking Denmark is the English name.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was some country in the Baltic region that I didn't know about. Fucking anything about the Baltic region.
It's right between Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Yeah. It's tiny enough you can't see it on a map. It's actually smaller than the Vatican. We just haven't given it the record yet because we're assholes. Alright. So, I guess I should say what's going up on my channel. Well, my Holy Roman Empire playthrough of Medieval 2 wrapped this Friday. I'll have more to say about that later. I want to start a Shogun 2 playthrough, probably with the Chosakabe, because they're stupid easy. So, probably expect that this week. I've also been feeling a hankering to either start a Dark Souls 2 playthrough or start a Total War 3 Kingdoms playthrough, so you may see either of them. Who knows? Soon!
Start a Total Dark 3 playthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how soon's just like, yeah, Total Dark 3.
I mean, that's kind of what
humankind.
That's kind of what every other Dark Souls YouTuber / streamer is doing right now.
Oh man, It couldn't work because there's just not the lore isn't built for it. But Total War Dark Souls would be so cool.
Mm.
I say
I
that
thought-
full well knowing that I'm the only one here who has beaten a Dark Souls game.
I beat Bloodborne.
Right, but it's not Dark Souls.
Okay.
I don't think Total War Bloodborne would work.
But I thought Dark Souls had some of the best lore in video gaming.
It does, but it's not building up like a multinational kind of sphere. It's more about people and beliefs, philosophies, religions, moments, characters.
Maybe from what I understand, Elden Ring might be able to pull that off.
Boy, wouldn't it be if that's what they're waiting on? Yeah,
What if-
George has got to write the story for 2 games. Oh shit, this game's never gonna come out.
What if they freaking reveal a deal during the development and it turns out that Elden Ring has been a Lord of the Rings game all along? It just shits all over the established lore.
I would love to see a Lord of the Rings game made by FromSoft. That would be awesome.
Mm. No thanks.
Okay. The only problem I could foresee is that FromSoft is known for its difficulty, and orcs are known for being complete shit. So
Even though they're technically supposed to be stronger than humans in every way, but when
well,
like, a
Uruks.
yeah,
Urukai are stronger than humans, but regular orcs are actually really tiny.
yeah, they are. But then the Uruks are like the ones. But like like you see like Aragorn fight a bunch of Uruks pretty easily by himself, although he's technically superhuman. So
Yeah, he's Dunedain, and there's a reason why
Right.
people always think that Tolkien's racist because of his treatment of the Dunedain. So
yeah, Dunedain.
Dunedain, right? Except, of course, that there's so many Dunedain in Gondor, and they suck ass. So I guess it's not really a master race thing, is it?
Yeah.
Anyways, soon. What you been doing this week, man?
Well, I watched Umbrella Academy season 2.
Okay, let's hear your take on it, because I think Pink's been doing the same.
It's weird. It's very weird.
Would you agree with that, Pink?
Well, yeah.
Like, in some ways, I'd say it's better than the first season, but in other ways, I would say it's much, much worse than the first season. Like, I feel like the plot isn't as tight. Like, the plot just feels like it's meandering a lot of the time. But also, like, the fight scenes are generally better, though they're a little bit shorter. And the way that music is worked into the show is better, but also the selection of songs don't really fit the aesthetic that they were going for. Like, they went back to the 60s, and in the first season, most of the songs were like 80s rock songs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There are some modern songs, though.
Yeah, there are a couple modern songs, but then like they go back to the 60s, and most of the playlist is modern pop songs, and it just it's like if you're gonna go
The
back
problem
to the
there,
60s,
though, is that when you go back to the 60s, with very, 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 very few exceptions, the music in the 60s absolutely sucked.
Oh, hey!
there was some good stuff in the 60s, though it started coming out later 60s.
Yeah, 69 when Bowie appeared on the scene. Yeah, sure.
Creedence Clearwater Revival. I think
Nope.
they were 60s. No,
No.
you're okay.
Not even on their best day do I consider them good.
The Beatles.
What? You're
Nope.
gonna say Creedence Clearwater Revival isn't good?
I am not a fan.
Jimi
Fuck
Hendrix.
you.
Okay, I like Jimi Hendrix. He's good.
The Animals.
Yeah, the Animals are great.
Yeah.
Queen wouldn't have started in the 60s. No, Freddie would have been a teenager.
Oh, Led Zeppelin technically started in the 60s.
Yeah, but Robert Plant's a pedophile, so fuck him. Or don't fuck him. Don't fuck him.
Stay away.
The Who, The Doors.
I'd say the Who is horribly overrated.
Okay, but The Doors is good.
Yeah, I like the Doors.
Simon and Garfunkel are amazing.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
care what you say.
all-time classics. There's some good music. The 60s was kind of... Okay, even if you don't like what came out in the 60s, Pink, the 60s was definitely a time of transformation in music away from Frank Sinatra and his boys. And you have
Very
to,
true.
you have to respect that the music you like is largely founded off of the music of the 60s.
Very true.
Yeah, and even just like including some Motown would have been good too, especially when like the civil rights was such a big part of the plot.
Hmm.
How would they cut
Yeah.
out Motown music out of the civil rights?
Yeah, there's no Motown. I think they have Twisting. What's it called? Twisting the Night Away. They have that one song, and then I don't think they have any other songs by any black people.
You know. But there aren't even... Oh, right, there is... I was about to say, there aren't even black members of the Umbrella Academy. I was like, oh, right, Allison.
There's Allison, yeah. even though in the comics she's like a white chick with pink hair.
They're all white in the comics, so...
Yeah, they're all white in the comics. But they're all white except for Allison in the show. Except for maybe Diego. I think Diego's supposed to be like...
Hispanic.
Not Hispanic. I think Puerto Rican. Although some people would say Puerto Ricans are Hispanic, I guess. I don't know. I'd have to ask Mucha.
There's also the dead guy, who's Asian.
Oh, yeah, Ben. Ben, yeah.
Which, can I point out that this show was by the frontman of My Chemical Romance, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And he also works on the show, as well as, he wrote the comic book.
Right, I know you guys know that, but I wanted to point out,
Yeah.
this show hasn't had a single song from them yet, has it?
Nope.
Ha!
Not by them, but they have. I want to say Gerard Way did a cover of Hazy Shade of Winter at the end of season 1, and he covered something else at the end of season 2.
He did do covers.
Right,
Yeah.
because his own music's too
So
bad.
it's not MCR, but it is Gerard.
Yeah.
Because he recognizes that his own music is too shit.
Yeah. I feel like the second season does embrace the spirit of the comic book more. It goes a lot more
Silly.
silly. Like, for example, they introduced Carmichael, or they call him AJ, which is the guy who's a goldfish.
Oh,
He's the head of the Time Commission.
I see.
And he ends up dying the same way that he does in the comic books. Spoiler.
I see.
Which is interesting.
I see.
Yeah, so they embraced like the spirit of the comic books more so. Luther ends up getting turned into like a super dumb, lovable oaf halfway through the season.
Do they just give him brain damage and say, now you can like him?
I mean, basically, he does have brain damage. I guess he got brain damage from all of his fights because he got like knocked out at one point, and then right after that, he turned really, really dumb.
Oh my god, like that bit from the Justice League when Batman actually gave Guy Gardner brain damage.
Yeah. And Luther gets knocked out by some wrestler. Like
Kurgan.
Yeah, Kurgan.
Kurgan, yeah, Kurgan always has bit roles in movies and TV shows.
Yeah, Kurgan knocks out Luther. So that's cool.
I'm sure he's done a lot better for himself with bit roles and acting than he ever would have in wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, there's some good parts of it. I would say the first half of the season, before they end up doing their meeting with Reginald, is by far the strongest part of the season. After that, it just kind of falls apart and feels like it's going nowhere. The first half, it feels like their goal is to meet Reginald, and then they meet Reginald, and it's just like...
That's where the plot comes undone.
Yeah, it's just like a 2-minute
The focus
scene.
is gone.
It's like a 2-minute scene. Reginald's just like, you guys suck, and then leaves.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, oh, I guess we don't know what to do now. And then they just kind of go their own ways, and eventually they just get like brought right to where they need to be by other people without even doing anything on their own.
Reginald was the one who adopted all of them, right?
Yeah, the really horrible asshole.
Right, the guy who
father.
spent the entirety of the first season telling them, hey, you're all fuck-ups.
Yeah. And it's even worse in the second season, which is, I like Reginald a lot. I think his actor is one of the betters in the show.
Which is why he only gets 2 scenes per season.
Yeah. And then obviously Five's actor is amazing.
Yeah, it's astonishingly for such a little kid.
Yeah, he like carries the show
Heh.
by like easily. Luther's actor gets really terrible in this season. He does not know how to act like a dumb, lovable oaf.
He didn't know how to act like anything else either. You remember him in Game of
Yeah.
Thrones?
No, he was in Game of Thrones?
Yeah. You don't remember?
No, what did he do?
He was Sam's older brother.
Oh shit, he was. Yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah.
But no, like in this season, his acting was literally on the level of. Have you ever seen Samurai Cop, or do you know Samurai Cop, right?
I've probably seen a scene from it at some point.
Okay, well, his acting was on par with Samurai Cop.
Yeah.
Where like there was even a scene at one point where where like the camera goes to him, and he's like in the middle of a conversation, and he's just looking with his eyebrows raised, really stupidly.
Heh.
Like it was straight out of that one Samurai Cop scene with the nurse.
I don't know, but I'll take your word for it.
I'd have to go find it. I'll find it real quick.
I don't think we can just watch it in the middle of the podcast.
That's true, yeah. But I'll link it to you guys just so for later. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. If apparently I can't paste. So never mind.
We're out of luck.
But yeah, no, Luther gets really terrible. Klaus wasn't as good as the first season. Ben got a lot more time on screen, which was great. I like Ben a lot. I think he's the heart of the show. And it was nice to see him get a lot more screen time and important.
Sounds like the show's focusing a lot on people who are fucking dead.
Yeah. Well, Ben's not dead anymore.
Oh, he's not?
It's complicated.
Okay.
He's both more dead than he was and not dead at all at the same time.
So he's back in a capacity where he can interact with people other than Klaus.
Yes. But it's Pink, have you finished the show?
I have.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's should I just spoil it?
I'm not going to watch the season. I didn't.
Okay.
I liked bits and pieces of the first season, but I wasn't really thoroughly enthused. I hated half the fucking characters.
Okay. The end of the season is actually, I think it's setting up the third season really, really well. I think it has a lot of promise for the third season. The end of so basically Ben is trying to save the world from Vanya again, and he dies in the process. Like his ghost disappears. And anyway, at the end of the season, they end up going back into their time, 2019, the day after the apocalypse. And it turns out that their actions in the 60s, surprise, surprise, have caused wide-reaching consequences. And so the Umbrella Academy is now the Sparrow Academy, and it's filled with an entirely new team, except for Ben, who is the new leader of the Sparrow Academy, and he's alive.
I really hope that team is all like really good at their jobs, and it basically.
They're 100% going to be. Like the primary theory is that Reginald meeting the Umbrella Academy in the 60s made him realize how terrible he was at raising them and how they were all failures. So he went out of his way to get any kids but them.
Yeah.
And because Ben wasn't there, he didn't see Ben.
Oh my god.
So that's the main theory, that he just like went out of his way not to get a bunch of these losers again.
I love the idea of like a superhero team seeing an alternate version of themselves that's less shit.
And that's probably what's going to be the case, especially because like this new team didn't let Ben die.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the implication there would also be Reginald wasn't so cruel to them, so they didn't all grow up to be so horribly self-hating.
Right. And like that is shown by like Ben being the leader because he's probably the most powerful
and the most caring.
Yeah. Whereas like before, Reginald raised them so that the leader was the least powerful.
Heh.
So it feels like he's definitely changed the way that he raised the kids. So they're probably going to be better in just about every way.
I
Which
guess.
is it's a really, really interesting premise for a next season.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Also, the handler is permanently dead, which is amazing because fuck the handler. I hate the handler and everything about her, and she makes this show worse by
She'll be
being around.
back.
I don't think so.
You said that
If
last
they bring her
season.
back again, I'm done.
You said
Yeah.
that. You said that last season.
I know she got shot in the fucking head, but she came back. But this season they were
You should have known. You've seen Kingsman 2. We've got anti-bullet bullet shot to the head wound gel.
Yeah, but like they seemed definitively to say she's gone now. Like after she was killed, they were like, "Is she gone for real this time?" And they were like, "Yeah." So it seems very definitive, like she's dead now. I don't know.
But if they don't bring her back, they might have to come up with a new villain design, and they don't want to do
They
that.
have a new villain design already.
But they could just go with the old one.
But they have one that they built up for the entire season, potentially.
No, but shut up, though.
Like, this entire season was about transitioning from the handler to her daughter.
Ah, jeez.
If her
No,
daughter actually
watch
becomes
there
the
be a
villain.
storyline of the handler possessing her daughter.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the handler is coming back. I don't.
I'm overwhelmingly cynical about this show, so you just shouldn't ask me for my take on it.
Yeah. Oh, and there was also the worst part about this season was the Swedish guys. Pig knows what I'm talking about, and I'm sure he agrees. But
Yeah.
yeah, the Swedish guys were absolutely terrible. They didn't talk at all. They were the new hitmen that were replacing Hazel and Cha-Cha. They had no character at all. They were just like there to like shoot at people, and they failed every single time. And then they just kind of like died off really easily.
Take that, fuckers.
And yeah, they sucked. They did have one good scene, and it was after one of them died. They had a little like Viking funeral, and during the funeral, a Swedish cover of Hello started playing, like Adele's Hello. It was hilarious. And then one of them like yelled out, and it was really, really funny. But like other than that, they were easily the worst part of the season. And otherwise, I think the season was good. It wasn't great. The first season I think was great. The second season I don't.
Yeah.
I think the second season was very weak in a lot of areas. Strong in some areas, but weak in most areas. So I'm interested to see where it goes in the third season. Still.
All right.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. The only differing opinion I have is that season 1, on a whole, I didn't like because of the ending. I'm a person who, if I don't like the ending to the show or the movie that I'm watching, I just put it in the didn't like category.
Right.
There have been several movies that I thoroughly enjoyed watching through, and then it got to the ending, and I was like, that sucked.
That's fair.
And
what'd you dislike about the ending of season 1?
Because it didn't feel definitive. At the end of season 1, they fail and they have to go back in time to try again.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was a waste of time and investment on my part, because you're presenting, okay, we have however many days, we'll say 5 days to stop the world from ending. 5 days passed, we failed, let's go back in time.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so next season we're gonna have 5 more days to try again. Okay, I'm gonna be watching the same show play out the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be fun.
Majora's Mask.
I think season 1's ending would have been better if they didn't just repeat the plot of season 1 and season 2, where it was like 5 ends up seeing the apocalypse. The apocalypse, he gets traveled back in time 10 days before the apocalypse. he needs to convince his siblings who are all separated and super assholish that they need to help him save the. Vanya has lost all her memories, so she's back right where she started.
Oh no! You that one statement convinced me not to watch the second season. Oh, I'm not. Fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, the second season was really weak on what it could have been. I do think that just because they failed in their mission in the first season doesn't mean that the ending was bad, especially because it is a season in a show that has multiple seasons. Like in Avatar, for example, season 2, they failed in their mission to protect Ba Sing Se at the end.
Right, but they didn't use fucking time travel to undo it.
No. No.
Yeah, I think that's where it gets me. It's like season 1 ultimately has no consequence.
Right. And that's true. That is true. Yeah.
It's like, I'm not gonna be mad at Empire Strikes Back for having the heroes lose at the end, because that is probably my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
But the heroes suffer the consequences of them losing. They don't just use time travel to ignore it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think season 2 would have been better if like the character arcs had stayed consistently, like where they were still growing based on their past achievements, but it felt like they kind of just went back to right where they were at the start of season 1 because how season 2 was set up. And I just think that season 2 suffered a lot from that, and it made the whole show kind of worse because of how it was written, which sucks, but yeah. Anyway, off of Umbrella Academy, I also started watching Gallivant.
What the heck is that?
It's so it's like Monty Python meets Princess Bride
Okay.
as a musical.
Okay.
All right. Color me intrigued.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's very short. It's like 10 episodes long, 20 minutes an episode for 2 seasons.
Huh.
So very, very, very short. Very short. But I mean, that's kind of like what you would expect a musical to be because musicals take a lot of time and effort. And there's multiple songs in each episode.
Ooh.
It's kind of funny. It's very British.
I was about to say it sounds very British.
But it's interesting in a lot of ways. It follows like a hero who's an asshole and he turns into an asshole because his previous fiance dumped him for the king when the king kidnapped her. So like if Buttercup and Princess Bride had just been like, nah, I wanna marry Humperdinckle.
Yeah.
And then like Wesley went into a big, like drunken, depressed phase. That's what Gallivant basically is. With a lot of like Monty Python-esque humor.
I see.
So it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I can't really describe it in any way other than what I already have. It feels like it's done more as a stage performance than as a TV show. Like how it's set up. It just feels like a stage performance instead of a TV show. So be aware of that aesthetic. Like it's shot like a TV show, but everything feels like it's got the sets that you would expect a stage performance to have.
Okay.
Cardboard backgrounds.
Yeah, yeah, like that. So it's interesting. I'd say give it a shot if you have Netflix. It's fun. The characters are interesting. Yeah.
All right.
And it's funny. Outside of that, I also watched some episodes of Lock and Key, which is the Stephen King's Son comic book adaptation.
Ooh, okay.
And yeah, kind of interesting. Not sure where it's going yet, but it's interesting. It's, what you would expect Stephen King's son to write.
Garbage?
Hey.
Yeah, it's it has all of the Telltale Stephen King stuff. with yeah, like I don't know. The villain is like some Lovecraftian horror woman thing that's like I don't know. She like I'm not sure how to describe her other than she's just kind of like some Lovecraftian sort of monster.
I think part of the idea is that you can't describe her.
Yeah, she just goes around and like
Eats people?
eats people, chokes them while she's having sex with them, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the kinky stuff. How many
The
boobs do
kinky
you think
stuff.
she has?
Yeah,
3
but
million.
it's
I believe
interesting.
it.
It's got a lot of mystery aspects to it. What I really like about it is that the kid, like the kid who sees all of the magic stuff first and is like trying to tell other people that there's magic, he's actually a huge dumbass who causes all of the problems in the show,
Nice.
which is just like really refreshing because I hate the trope of the super smart kid who sees all the magic and solves everything.
Eh.
I just hate kids.
So yeah, that's really refreshing. And I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm not especially attached to the show, but it's entertaining. So,
All right.
yeah. And then I plan to set up my PlayStation 4 finally and get the Avengers beta.
All right.
So I'll let you guys know how that goes. I expect it's going to go well. People on the Reddit who have tried the beta seem to really enjoy the gameplay.
Okay. I
So,
am. You know the compliment that the Hero Fort that I'm waiting on.
what's that?
It's basically Marvel Heroes. That's what I'm waiting to hear.
It probably will be Marvel Heroes, yeah.
If it turns out that way, yeah, I'm absolutely going to shell out for it.
The thing is, people who are criticizing it have just been like, it feels like it's Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and I'm like, Marvel Ultimate Alliance sold.
I mean, not
Like,
everyone felt that Marvel Ultimate Alliance played like a dream, you know?
yeah, that's fair, but I don't know. I loved Marvel Ultimate Alliance, so like a AAA Marvel Ultimate Alliance is basically all I've ever wanted in life.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the only I think the only real problem I had with Marvel Ultimate Alliance was like there was some presence of combo mechanics, but they felt very underdone and kind of clunky. So a AAA game that puts a lot more focus on them sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah, it does seem to have combos, but when you start off the game, there's not really any combos and you have to unlock them. And for some reason, people who were previewing the beta decided that they've never played any other combo based game where you have to unlock the combos, and they criticized it for not having combos, even though you have to unlock the combos.
Devil May Cry 5 just came out last year, and every character in that game starts with very basic moves.
Yeah, and that's what this is like. I don't know. People who I feel like there's I don't know, I feel like a lot of reviewers are just expecting people to hate the game because there's been such a hate train for the game and it's a live service game, and so they're
they're in their mind they're already on that hate train. So why try to build it up when you can just much easier to say that it's kind of bad.
Yeah,
and just ride that hype train instead.
Yeah, like I remember I watched these YouTubers, Layman Gaming, and like they got to play the Avengers, the A-Day gameplay from E3 with the Avengers, and afterwards they said that it was pretty good, that it felt fun to play, and then like the hate train started, and they like 180'd super quick and have ever since been criticizing the game as being bland and stuff. It was really weird. But the weirdest thing I've heard is that people say that like the Arkham games have way better combat, which
I don't believe it.
I always thought that the Arkham games had terrible, really basic combat that was just like mash square and counter every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I wrong in that?
No. I'd never finished any of those games, but from what I played, no.
but apparently
There's a bit
bunch of
more than
people-
that, but I don't think you're going to prove that Avengers is good by shitting on Batman.
Yeah, I just don't know where this idea that the Arkham games are like the pinnacle of super combat came from.
Because anyone could pick up an Arkham game and look cool as Batman.
Yeah, but there's no complexity to it. And these people are criticizing Avengers as a button masher while they're also saying that the Arkham games have amazing combat.
Well, people
Dude, look at the freaking the most played games right now, and look at your argument and compare the two.
Well,
Like I'm not saying that Avengers will be shit. Avengers can be good. I don't freaking know. I
Wait,
didn't
what-
play it, but
What do you? I'm not sure what you're saying. But
people don't
look at
want
my
complexity.
argument.
People don't want complexity.
I know people don't want complexity, but they're complaining about a game being a button masher, and then they're comparing it to actual button mashers.
Yeah,
Okay.
because people are stupid. Can't make
Yeah,
proper
they
arguments.
So hang on. So what does the average person, like, if you've never played a Devil May Cry game before in your life, and you pick up a Devil May Cry game, what does it feel like? Oh, I'm just pressing buttons and Dante's doing things. It doesn't look particularly cool, and I'm just pressing buttons and hitting things. This game's dumb. Whereas Batman, you press buttons and Batman is like jumping all over the fucking room, doing super combos, beating the shit out of people. Oh my god, I'm such a fucking badass. This game's combat system is great.
Yeah,
You can
Sounds like
pick it up
Kingdom
and
Hearts.
instantly be great, whereas people don't want a game where you can pick it up and you're like, oh shit, I have to learn.
Yeah,
And people
Yeah,
have
you
this, hang on, people have this impulse in their brains of, I can't possibly be bad, I can't possibly be wrong.
Mhm.
Clearly the game is wrong.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I said all throughout college.
Like, yeah, it's,
And like-
it's Skinner from
this-
Simpsons, right? Like, am I out of touch? No, it's the games that are wrong.
yeah.
Yeah, and even with freaking even amongst us, this is true because Soon doesn't like fighting games because he doesn't want to learn how to play them. I dislike Killer Instinct because I don't want to learn it. So
Yeah.
I don't like fighting games because I suck at them. It's just not fun to play. a
Same,
fighting
brother,
game that you
same.
suck at.
Stop jumping so much! Every
I mean,
time I
I've
play a
tried-
fighting game against you, you are hopping all over the screen like a goddamn bunny.
I
That's
can't
because-
help it.
That's because my thumb, like naturally when I like go and move, like side to side, my thumb pushes up a little bit, and so when I'm moving side to side, I'm actually jumping because of how like sensitive the analog sticks are to jumping.
don't use analog sticks. Use D-pad. That's your first
Yeah,
issue.
I hate using the D-pad, so I'm fine just using the analog sticks. I don't care.
I just wanted to get the high ground like Obi-Wan told me, but it doesn't work.
I refuse to try to adapt and learn how to play this. Therefore, it is wrong.
Hang on, I should note that Pink at least does pick the characters who should be jumping anyways.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, you play Cammy in Street Fighter, and jumping is just
Right.
what Cammy does. Which, conveniently, doesn't... Soon, didn't you also play Cammy somewhat, but you preferred Rashid?
Yeah. In
I-
Street Fighter 5, yeah. And then in Mortal Kombat I liked Sonya.
Yeah,
I think
Sonya
she had
also...
good-
Sonya
I think-
also is a jump character.
Yeah, like she's a jump character. In Injustice I played Catwoman.
The jump character in Injustice is Hawk Girl, but nobody plays Hawk Girl.
Yeah, I didn't like Hawk Girl at all, so I just played Catwoman. And
Oh no, the fucking jumping character in Injustice is Superman. Jesus.
oh yeah, yeah. And I just didn't want to play Superman because in
Jeez.
Injustice he was broken.
Jeez.
Yeah. I remember the tournament that someone won in Injustice, and literally all they did the entire time was just sit in the corner and spam Superman's laser eyes.
Day
The
one
entire-
tournaments are a bad idea.
No, that was months into the game's lifetime.
Was it a serious tournament?
Yes.
I don't believe you.
I remember it. It was back when I was competitively playing PlayStation All-Stars, and so a bunch of the guys I was playing with were really big into fighting games.
Huh, okay.
And yeah, we watched that tournament.
I mean,
I don't know if that's worse or if the Leroy release tournament for Tekken 7 is worse, where literally like the top 8 was all Leroy and like one Honda, not Honda, freaking Ganryu or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like anytime someone got close, they would just freeze breath instead, I think, was the maneuver that they did. Like if they were able to finally get past the laser eyes, they just freeze breath.
Injustice is a game entirely about zoning.
Yeah. And then Aquaman was also really strong, right?
Yeah, but he was not a zoner.
Yeah, and so yeah. Superman was way too strong and Injustice won.
I think he still was considered not to be weaker than Deathstroke, though.
Yeah.
Everyone was weaker than Deathstroke in that game.
For his
That's
neutral B, he has a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Superman's like jumping laser eyes was way stronger because it covered pretty much the entire screen.
Oh, man, you didn't see Deathstroke when he just decided to pop his grenade launcher. Okay, anyways, we're getting off topic. What was it that we were talking about before? You did something?
Avengers.
You haven't actually played it yet, though, right?
I haven't actually played it, no. I was saying that I wanted to play it, and then we started talking about the reception that it's been getting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm excited to see how it goes. Apparently, the combat is pretty complex. Like, it has auto attack, like dodging, auto attack canceling, and other stuff like that. Apparently, Widow is supposed to be the most fun character to play.
I probably could have told you that, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, like, Crystal Dynamics was really concerned about Black Widow. They were like, how are we going to make this work? Because, like, she's Black Widow, and we also have, like, Iron Man and the Hulk. And so they ended
The
up
answer is a gun.
And so they ended up dedicating more time to Black Widow than any other character in the game.
She's definitely got a lot of gun variety, doesn't she? Because I saw she can get pistols or SMGs.
Yeah, she's got pistols, SMGs, and then revolvers.
Oh, interesting.
So double pistols, double SMGs, and a revolver.
Isn't Punisher going to blow her out of the water when he gets added, though?
Oh, yeah, totally.
A character who's nothing but gun.
Her traversal
Yeah, but does
mechanics,
Punisher have Hurricane Ranas? I don't think so.
her traversal mechanics are grappling hook. She has a grappling hook, and it's kind of like in Just Cause 3.
Oh, man,
Yeah,
I wish she could connect things together with the ropes.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Not really connecting things together, but like that's how her traversal mechanic is. She can just like jump around and then grapple onto things, and it's probably going to be similar to how Spider-Man's going to work, but obviously Spider-Man will be even more intricate in terms of traversal, hopefully.
Well, I saw that she can grapple hook swing like Spider-Man will, so...
Yeah, she can.
But so can Kamala with her big hands, so...
I think Black Widow could do that in the Ultimate Alliance games too. She could web swing around using gadgets.
Black Widow wasn't playable in the Ultimate Alliance games.
She wasn't?
No.
Nope.
Oh, I must be confusing her with someone else who had like gadgets that could web swing around.
The only person I can think of who would imitate the web swing would be Taskmaster. And he wasn't in those games either.
No. I mean, there's obviously Venom in Ultimate Alliance 2.
Well, he's cheating.
Yeah, I know.
Venom was in
Maybe
Ultimate Alliance 1.
Maybe I'm confusing it with Marvel Heroes. And I'm thinking of a Marvel Heroes character who could web swing like Spider-Man. Could Black Widow web swing?
A lot of characters just sprinted in that game.
Yeah.
Which was lame, but there are a couple characters it worked for, like Black Panther and Captain America, but for her it looked pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, right, in the comics, Black Widow has the super soldier serum, doesn't she?
Probably.
So, in that case, yeah, it actually makes sense that Black Widow would be able to keep up with Cap and Black Panther.
Yeah. But, yeah. I'll see how it goes. I'll let you said you wanted to know about Miss Marvel and Iron Man.
Yeah.
I did hear that the flight ceiling is kind of low.
Oh.
Which sucks.
I was worried about that.
Yeah, that sucks. but they've been getting a lot of reception, so maybe they'll increase the flight ceiling. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Because they don't want Iron Man players and Thor players to just go sit up in the sky and fucking shoot down.
Yeah, that's true.
Which the answer to that is just add more flying enemies.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just add flying enemies. Based on the gameplay footage that I saw, though, Iron Man's gameplay actually looks pretty good. Like, you can hover around on the ground and stuff, and his combos look really interesting.
Well,
like his melee combos.
Well, Tony's always going to have interesting gameplay just because of the different avenues you can take him down. You know?
Yeah, and obviously his ranged arsenal is easily the best in the game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, I think they said he has over 100 different types of ranged attacks. Yeah. Although I think Captain America will end up being the ultimate ranged character.
Well, I hope not. That'd be stupid.
Because he has ranged combos with his shield. I told you about those where like when you have to time the shield so that like when you're catching it you time it so that you throw it out again and then you combo off of that.
Right, like Kratos' axe.
Yeah. So I think he might be like the fun ranged character unless you want to play like a third person shooter, in which case play Widow or Iron Man.
Iron Man's gonna have way better area coverage no matter what.
Yeah.
Cap can throw a shield at one guy. Tony can launch missiles at everyone.
Yeah, I mean, Cap can like throw his shield and then it rebounds off and hits a bunch of other people too.
True. Well, the best ranged character I think we can all agree should be Hawkeye.
Yeah, obviously we haven't seen anything of Hawkeye.
I'm fascinated to see, but we aren't going to see him until 2021, so hey.
No. We're actually seeing him fairly soon after.
Oh, really?
We're seeing him right now in our mind's eye.
Oh, God!
Like,
they're implanting the images into my brain!
Spider-Man is going to be like one of the, like, so right now we have 4 heroes that we're expected to see post-launch that are already planned and stuff. And then after those 4 is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is like early to mid 2021. Yeah.
So it's pretty much guaranteed we're getting Hawkeye, Carol. I'd say Black Panther. Black Panther's got to be sooner rather than later.
Black Panther's an option, but I think who was the other one that? Oh, Daisy Johnson, Quake.
Oh God! Don't remind me.
Quake is probably going to be one of the early ones because she's already a big Easter egg in the game, and a lot of people are requesting her.
But who gives a shit? Agents
casuals.
of Agents of Shield fans. Fucking.
Apparently, a lot of people like Quake.
The fucking Agents of Shield show.
Yep.
Oh Christ.
There are apparently actual fans of that show.
Oh, and Ant-Man's got to be coming sooner rather than later. Kamala can already shrink.
Yeah. You would think. They never include Ant-Man in anything.
Kamala Khan can already shrink, so the mechanics are already there.
There you go. Ant-Man can
yeah. All of the mechanics are there. Shrinking, growing, and Hank's his model's already in the game.
His model is already...
So 3 that we know are going to be in the first 4 are Carol, Hawkeye, and Hank Pym, and then the 4th
could probably be Scott, not Hank.
Well, we don't have Scott. We have Hank, though.
Right, but we don't have a model of Hank in the suit. We're probably going to get Scott in the suit because Hank is known for beating his wife.
Right. Oh, yeah.
He can't escape that no matter where he goes.
So, yeah, we'll probably get Ant-Man, and then Hawkeye and Carol. Hawkeye's going to be first, then I would assume Carol, then I would assume Ant-Man, and then last up is a throw. It's going to be either Black Panther or Quake.
I have to imagine it's Black Panther is a higher priority than Quake.
Yeah. I do know that they said that they wanted to add a bunch of, like, smaller heroes to the game.
Right, but, like, Carol and Black Panther are both, like, for one thing, like, obviously political, but, like for political purposes, but also just because, like, Black Panther was part of, like, the most successful solo Marvel movie. And Carol is very clear. Carol's very clearly who Marvel intends to be their flagship character going forward, you know?
And isn't Black Panther like the Avengers roster in most teams?
He definitely would be considered part of the kind of classic Avengers lineup, yeah.
Yeah, like the classic Avengers is Captain America, Iron Man, Black Panther, and
Well, I mean, if we're just talking about the straight up founding team,
yeah.
Black Panther was not on the founding team. No, that would have been Hulk, Thor, Tony, Wasp, and Ant-Man, I think. Right, Pink?
Yeah.
And then, of course, Hulk got replaced by Captain America in like 3 issues.
Yeah.
But T'Challa is definitely like one of the originals.
And he's one of the ones that is like stuck around as an Avenger for a long time.
Oh, yeah. T'Challa's not
So-
going away anytime soon, so...
So yeah, like I would assume Black Panther will be one of them if it's not Quake. Quake is definitely coming eventually. Moon Knight will probably be added eventually. I'm not sure what other small shows that they would add.
Well, in terms of small ones, like, they're definitely going to try and tie into the film. So we're gonna see, what's his name? Kung Fu guy.
Oh yeah,
Iron Fist?
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Oh, we're gonna see an Eternal or two. Whichever one Richard Madden is playing, probably.
No, Eternals are going to be a part of the Guardians game, which I assume will end up connecting to the Avengers game of Total Warhammer.
We'll see. I don't know. I wouldn't be so sure.
I think that they're going to mostly save the comic stuff, Captain Marvel side, the Guardians game.
We'll see, but the Guardians game could be story-based or something. Like, I wouldn't be too surprised if they add in Star-Lord into Avengers to tie in with that game, but you can't really predict it, because Marvel seems to be giving some degree of freedom with these games.
Yeah. I just feel like that's what the most logical decision would be, is to just, like, have the Guardians game as a pseudo expansion to the Avengers game.
It sounds like wishful thinking to me, man.
Maybe, but I mean, it's just that like the Guardians game is being made by the same exact people.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, well, then there's more of a chance, yeah.
So like, if it's made by the same people, I just assume that that's what it's going to be. Like, if they can't, like, any characters that are too cosmic, like Nova, they're just going to end up having in the Guardians game.
That makes sense, yeah. Anything else?
No, not really. I've been reading the Umbrella Academy comic book a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic of the comic book, but it's very weird. It's very weird, which is...
I think that was the idea.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm sure you've heard that, like, the very first scene in the comic books is them fighting the Eiffel Tower, which has been, like, hijacked by the zombie Gustav Eiffel.
That sounds like Umbrella Academy, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, Luther just kind of uppercuts the Eiffel Tower.
As one does.
Yep, and the Eiffel Tower ends up, like, getting knocked out. And then they...
Oh shit, I gave the Eiffel Tower brain damage!
And then the Eiffel Tower ends up, like, skyrocketing, and it turns out that the Eiffel Tower was a Martian spaceship the whole time.
I knew it!
The truth is out there.
And then, obviously, Luther, instead of just being combined with a gorilla's DNA, he just has a Martian space gorilla's body with his head attached onto it.
Right, Reginald just sawed his head off and put it on a gorilla, you know, as you do.
Yep. So, still reading that. It's interesting. Yep.
Interesting. Okay, Pink, what you been up to, man?
Oh, outside of Umbrella Academy, I don't think I've done anything this week.
Rip.
You fucking loser.
Yeah.
What a nerd! If you
No,
ever
I
need,
genuinely think that's it. There might have been something else that somebody watched, but I don't know. I don't remember.
if you ever need tips on Medieval 2, you know two people that both suck at that game, so be sure to ask us so we can misguide you.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did start playing Medieval 2. That's what I did this week.
Ah,
But yeah, I started that. I skipped the tutorial, just went to quick battle. That was a mistake.
yeah.
That was a mistake.
That game's UI is not very intuitive at all.
No, they have you use the number pad to move around.
What the fuck?
I don't understand it.
Oh, I just remapped the keys to WASD.
Yeah,
I
so
haven't
did
done
I.
that yet, but I need to.
Yeah.
Especially because they're using the number pad on the right side of the keyboard,
Yeah.
and that's where your mouse goes.
Mhm.
Yep.
I never
like-
understood why people like using the number pad unless they're like left-handed.
Right?
Because it just
It-
feels so awkward to like reach my left hand all the way over there.
Yeah.
Just like take my hand off of my mouse, in which case I can't like do anything else.
Right.
Like it just doesn't make sense to me to have it on the number keys.
It's terribly uncomfortable.
Oh man, I got something to say about wacky PC game controls on my bit. Anyways, did you figure out how to do anything, or were you like me? The first time I opened up Medieval 2, I started up a campaign as the English, and I was like, oh, I don't understand how to move any of the armies, or like pass the turn, or what are these buttons? What is helmet? What does helmet do?
So I did the quick battle thing, which isn't the campaign. It just puts you right into the heat of the war.
Oh boy,
So
I never pressed
figured
that
out
button.
I figured out how to move my units around.
I think
I didn't.
doesn't it just give you a randomly generated army?
Yeah,
Yep.
Oh no.
yeah.
It's really awful too. I think I once did a quick battle where like I had like all artillery and then the enemy had like all cav.
Oh nice.
Like, well, guess I'm not winning this game.
Bring it on, fuckers. We can definitely bring you down before you get to us. Was it even was it even good artillery, or was it just like catapults?
I think it was like a mixture of ballistas and trebuchets.
Oh boy, you had no chance.
But yeah, don't ever quick battle.
No.
You maybe do a historical battle, even though those are mostly supposed to be challenging.
Yeah, those are kind of like the boss fights of Total War.
Yeah,
I believe it.
the Battle of Agincourt is probably the best out of those for Medieval 2.
If you just want to mess around in battle, I go with custom battle and just stack the odds horribly in your favor so you get some free time to learn.
Yeah, that's a good option.
Also lets you just look over the rosters in case you want to look at all the nice, pretty unit designs.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget to like hack the game so that you have like all of the.
I already told Pink how to do that.
Yep.
Okay, good.
It's not really hacking. You're just opening a file that's not. It's not even like encoded into a certain engine. It's just a .text file, and you just.
Yeah, that's how modding in like the early PC days.
Oh yeah.
Like I had to do that with a lot of games. Like Jurassic Park Operation Genesis also had you just go into Notepad and like very easily change certain things.
Oh yeah.
So that you,
I remember
Yeah.
seeing where someone said, oh, you can just open a .text file from Medieval 2 and just put this
Mhm.
number here, and there'll be a land bridge between Turkey and Italy.
yeah.
That's a good game, but it's an old one. It's a fucking old one. You got to get used to how old it is.
Yep.
I mean, it's not really that old. It only came out in 2006, but God, the UI just aged terribly.
I mean, a lot of games in like the early 2000s aged pretty poorly.
2006 is after the halfway point.
Yeah. But still, like that was That was like when the PS3 came out, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the game has crazy graphics. In 2006, I wouldn't have believed that a game could exist like that graphically, but still, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, I got anything else to say, Pink?
Once I went to the tutorial, I somehow managed to bug that in
Yes.
some way, so I cannot mount the boat.
Yes, I did the exact same thing. That is a bug that the tutorial has in particular that's really bad.
Okay, so it's not just me.
Nope, I did the exact same thing.
My streak of not successfully succeeding in tutorials continues.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened there. I think what I had to do was just force in turn. There's a key that you can do that. You know how in Civ 6 you can force in turn by pressing Shift plus Enter?
Yeah.
I think I had to do that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's where my campaign came to an end.
Sir, we cannot get in the boat. Well, fuck, I suppose we should just give up then. All right. Anything else?
No, absolutely not.
Addy, what you been up to this week up here?
So, I played through Modern Warfare 2.
Yay!
For the first time?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
How'd you like it?
it continued the first game, so
Is that a newer one or an older one?
Oh,
it's an old one.
That's Warfare
Okay.
2. Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, decade
Yeah.
old.
General Shepard.
Yeah,
So-
the part that you are always quick to praise about it.
That's because General Shepard is a really, really well written villain.
I like how you got cut off midway through the word you used to describe him. That way, so the Discord just prevented you from spoiling the game, by the way. He's a really good
Speaking of spoilers, at the end of the game, I was like, well, we're gonna see Soap die. And then I loaded up the museum mode, press the do not or do not hold square freaking
I fucking love the
thing.
museum.
and then proceeded to kill Soap. So I did get to see did get to see Soap die.
The
But-
museum. The
but-
museum was the best part about Modern Warfare 2. I love that.
Personal hygiene.
The soap must die.
Why?
That's Capcom's newest stylish hero action game.
Heh.
But yeah, guns exist.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell.
Guns exist.
I don't know what to say about him. I did find an interesting thing, and I guess I don't know if it technically is spoilers, but it's spoilers for like a 10-year-old game, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
But there's this smallish twist, I guess. I guess it's not that small, but whatever. So as I was walking through the museum and looking at the levels and all of that, I look at one character model and I go, oh yeah, this is where Soap and I did that thing. And then I walk to the next one and I look at the same character model and I go, oh yeah, this is where Vectavish and I did that thing. Because for the freaking first half of the game, they call Soap McTavish, which is his actual name. And so it just got stuck as at this point of the story, this is McTavish. At this point of the story, this is Soap. And for whatever reason, my mind just separated those two. I don't know why.
All right.
I also really like how it's like the freaking it's really stereotypical with its naming conventions. Ah yes, Colonel John Price and John Soap McTavish. John Gunn.
I think it's very obvious right now that Pink and I have not played Modern Warfare 2.
I did appreciate that the freaking there's one part in the story where you have to download files, but you have to do it through a Wi-Fi router, and it's then the internet keeps going between like freaking 30 megabits a second and 0.9 kilobits a second,
Ah,
and I appreciate it fluctuates like that because it's realistic.
yeah.
It was kind of annoying, but it was funny,
Yeah.
even more so. I also I don't know if I'd say I liked it, but they did pull off the same twist twice. So
the fact that they got you twice with it is the part. I bet you didn't think I'd do this twist again. Oh, I did it again.
you didn't expect me to spinning punch driving you for the third time.
Yeah. You wouldn't expect me to do it for a fourth time. Oh no. If
the fourth time is Infinity Warfare.
If you say that if I at some point say, oh, you wouldn't think I'm stupid enough to do it a third time, it's guaranteed I'm going to do it a fourth time.
So I did that. I played some Neon Chrome, which is a game none of you have ever heard of, I'm gonna assume.
Yes, I have heard.
All right, Sue's heard of it.
It's another one of those indie shit games that has like a nice aesthetic, supposedly.
It doesn't even have a nice aesthetic.
It
has nice music.
I was doing air quotes around that when I said.
Yeah. Well, air quotes are hard to see when we're speaking in in voice chat.
That is true.
Soon, put your fingers through the screen.
But yeah, it is a game. It's like it is a top down, I suppose. It's not really. It's like 2/3 of the way to the top, I guess. Freaking shooter game that also has a cyberpunk aesthetic. And basically, playing this game is just makes you want to buy the winner and play through it again.
So, Dubs, think Hotline Miami.
I'm not thinking at all about this right now.
It's basically Hotline Miami off.
Okay, if I don't recognize the game's name, I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm going to let Addy speak, because if I try to talk about this, I'm going to put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is also a roguelike, because it came out when those were all the rage, and it is a roguelike. I mean, I guess having to switch to a new class every time you die is interesting. And basically, the most noteworthy thing I can bring up about it is you get money for killing people, and that money you get to spend between runs to then upgrade your stats. But the stats don't upgrade at a freaking rate fast enough for you to actually notice that you're upgrading them. I'm upgrading stats by like the 5-sum, and I still don't know what the hell changed.
Yeah. That's a problem with RPGs in general, honestly. That's part why I'm not too huge on
them. So yeah, Neon Chrome is a game that exists. And after we finished playing this year's Halloween game, which I won't spoil because it's a surprise to everyone. But after that, I was compelled to go and check out Sonic Forces for comparison. And yeah, Sonic Forces is pretty good in comparison. The game you can like. There's still the telltale Sonic design issues of, well, Sonic feels like shit, but it doesn't feel as shit. And the act, like, for your OC you get to choose a different species, and the species actually make a difference in gameplay. So I at least appreciate that. What else can I say about it? I have S-ranked nearly all of the missions, or whatever the levels. There's one level that I cannot S-rank though, and I don't think I ever will, which is the water level. So there's this water level, and that's the worst level of the game. All of the other levels are, either forgettable or on the better side of mediocre. That one, no. That one is straight up like that one is Chemical Plant Zone. That one is the new Chemical Plant Zone, and Chemical Plant Zone is in the game. And just so you know, I hate Chemical Plant Zone. I think it's the worst. But freaking like it has these water slides, and the water slides themselves wouldn't be too much of an issue. But then there's also the spinning robots that are sliding next to you, and if you hit them, you get bumper card, and you can get bumper card off of the tree, and that should be the challenge. But there's so many of them sometimes, or they just go by so fast, or you just happen to freaking like, I don't know, get 1 millimeter too close, and then you just fly off. And that's annoying when you're trying to S rank the level. And yeah, there's that. What else did I do? I think that's it.
All right. So on my end, I'll try to be quick about it. I guess I should hit something that neither Pink nor Soon would care about, because both of them are muted right now. But I watched the last of Romero's initial Dead trilogy, Day of the Dead. So it was one that was fairly controversial in its time, though people have kind of warmed up over it. So the first, Night of the Living Dead, is on the very night of the outbreak. Oh no, shit's fucked. The movie came out in 1968, it's in black and white, it's old as hell, but it's considered a classic for a variety of reasons, partly just because it innovated the modern horror genre. Right? Because up until then, the horror genre was kiddie movies about Frankenstein chasing people into corners or something, right?
Yeah.
And in Night of the Living Dead, we see people get torn apart. You know. And then there was Dawn of the Dead in the 1970s. A fantastic movie, very well executed. And I talked about that one last week. And that one was as things were starting to really get bad. And they go and hide out in a mall. Day of the Dead, though, it's probably over a year, maybe a couple years into the zombie apocalypse. And it's following like 9 people that are stuck in a government bunker underneath the ground. And they're all kind of just sitting there like, boy, everyone else is fucking dead, aren't they?
Oh yeah, this is the one that I've always wanted to watch. The government bunker one.
Yes, well, they're all good. I think Night of the Living Dead was my personal least favorite, but I'd still say it was a good movie. Dawn of the Dead is fantastic, and I really loved it. Day of the Dead's pretty good. I liked it a lot. It's a flawed movie by all means, but I liked it a lot.
Is that the one where they like take the zombie and try to like do experiments on it in the government bunker?
Yes, they try to see if they can. Well, they're supposed to figure out a weapon, but one of the major conflicts of the movie is that the lead scientist isn't really interested in killing the zombies. He's interested in domesticating them.
Right.
Which, of course, ties into who he is as a character and how everyone else is as a character. And this movie, like everything with Romero, has a big social satire to it. This one is not nearly as on the nose as Dawn of the Dead was, though. I would say that hang on, let me actually pull up the quote that Romero had, because Romero outright said, like, what the point of the movie was to him, because somebody asked him at some point. And it pretty well summarizes the whole film. Okay, Romero described the film as a tragedy about how a lack of human communication causes chaos and collapse even in this small little pie slice of society. It's miscommunication and society falling apart is just kind of a classic part of the zombie genre.
Yep.
But I think that there are a lot of cases where it's horribly overdone. In Day of the Dead, I think it really works because, for one thing, just about everybody's fucking dead except for these 9 people.
Yeah.
So these 9 people are probably not going to have the best outlook on life. And for another thing, they're not out and about in the world, as a roaming nomadic horde, They are stuck in a government underground bunker for over a year. They're probably going a little stir crazy. And yeah, that's a big focus here, is like these 9 people are stuck in an underground bunker. This sucks ass. Not only that, it's an underground bunker built into one of those cave systems that the government uses to store files. You guys know those?
Yeah.
They build in like the sides of mountains and shit. Which
like
I should
where
know. Oh no, what'd you say, Soon?
like where they store all of the like various seeds, and it's like one of the most highly secured places in the entire world.
Yes, a lot like that.
Yeah,
And
the place where they stored the aliens.
yeah.
Yeah,
I know it.
conspiracies.
And at one point, they do mention that they've got a lot of that shit stored down there, but they actually filmed down there. They didn't build a fake cave set. They filmed stuff down there. Fun fact, that sucked to film in, because it was only 50 degrees down there, but it was humid as hell, which ruined most of their technology and the special effects.
Makes sense.
And it really speaks to how much of troopers they were. The special effects in that movie still look fantastic. The movie is a fantastic showing of practical effects, especially with blood and gore. Oh, Jesus. The last act of the movie is gruesome. Very gruesome. There are some uncomfortable deaths in that movie. So I guess if you're a gore fanatic, you'll really like that part. The themes are really good. I enjoyed the characters. There's one character in particular who is I was about to say suicidally stupid, but they make it clear that, like, he's been taking it harder than everybody else. I don't know. But there is one character in this film who has the most astoundingly stupid death I've ever seen in a zombie film. There's only one way into the bunker, through an elevator, right? So he is like, Tommy Wiseau, right? I'm sick of this world. Everyone betray me. So he goes up the elevator, gets all the zombies to come to him on the elevator, and as the zombies are eating him alive, the most painful way of committing suicide ever. Like, holy shit, why would you commit suicide that way? It's like committing suicide by slowly chopping off parts of your body, right? Like, what? Why? And as they're eating him, he also pushes the button on the elevator so the zombies will get let into the bunker and kill everyone. And it's just like, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
That part is the only really bad part of the movie to me.
That happens in Train to Busan as well.
Of course it does.
Yep.
The acting kind of varies. Like, there are some characters who the actors are just like, what the fuck is that performance? What the fuck is that accent? But the main antagonist, Captain Rhodes, he does a fantastic job as the villain. The main chick, she's pretty good. And there is one zombie in particular that the scientist is trying to domesticating that's his favorite, called Bub. And that actor that is behind the zombie makeup for that guy does a great job. It's definitely a movie with a lot of, like, distinct moments. No matter, like, even if the movie was poorly executed, this is a movie with very unique concepts that nothing else in the zombie genre has tried to imitate. And you will walk away liking that at the very least. Because the zombie genre is one that is filled with people doing the same shit over and over again. The same stories, right?
Yep.
So seeing someone that does something different with the zombies, that alone is pretty good. And this movie was executed pretty well. And there's one thing I really like about it, is that Romero's zombies are not like one of the problems I have with zombie fiction is that you'll just see one dumbass main character who gets overpowered and eaten by a single zombie, right? And you're like, oh god, how stupid and weak can you be, right? That's not how Romero zombies work. The individual zombie in Romero ain't a problem. Like, they're just casual about it. Like, ah shit, that guy got back up. Okay, he's dead again. But, oh boy, yeah, 40 zombies is a bit more of a problem, isn't it? There's one guy, there's a soldier who, bless him, he tries to parkour away from the zombies. And, no, surrounded on all sides. Whoops. Instead of parkouring to a safe place away, he parkoured himself onto a dinner platter for the zombies. Oh, boy. What else was I going to say?
Are you gonna watch the James Gunn movie now?
No, because there's no easy way for me to do it. I do want to say, I like there's kind of a thematic set of endings to the trilogy. Night of the Living Dead ends on a bright note for humanity as a whole. Night of the Living Dead ends in a way that's kind of like, people will be able to deal with the zombies, but for the main characters, they get fucked super hard.
Yeah.
Bad end for all of them. One of them in particular gets a really humiliating way that he goes out.
I feel like that's what should typically happen in the zombie genre.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I feel like the worst part about, like, zombies is that, like, it's never believable that they, like, end the world so quickly. And
Yeah,
that, like, our military just, for some reason, completely falls apart.
Yeah, that's a problem I've always had with zombies too. Though I think Dawn of the Dead did a lot of work to making it work, because the way Dawn of the Dead, which you weren't here last week when I was talking about Dawn of the Dead, but Dawn of the Dead, for one thing, gives us a glimpse into how journalism is going and how the news is going, and even oh my God, is Discord eating what I'm saying? Of course it is.
Yes.
Okay, Dawn of the Dead gives us a look into journalism and what the government is saying and all this. And they don't know what the fuck's happening because everybody's suddenly dying. So they're all just kind of like, what the fuck? And like when we see the journalists, they're like, we should stop telling people to go to these particular government safe sites because we're not hearing from them anymore. So they probably got overrun. And then the news executive is like, no, we can't stop telling people to stop going there. If we stop telling people where to go, they're going to turn the channel. So it's just a fucking clusterfuck for the private news, and the public news isn't any better either, because they bring on hack job scientists who are like, kill your siblings, kill your family, kill yourselves, feed each other to the zombies. Which, of course, isn't helping.
Yeah.
And when we get glimpses into the military and the police trying to crack down, they start bringing in absurd rules like, if anyone dies, just give the government the bodies. And, like, unsurprisingly, a lot of people are like, fuck you, I'm going to bury my grandma whether you like it or not. So the government starts cracking down, kicking doors open. And
was this a commentary on the Vietnam War?
Could be.
This sounds like a commentary on the Vietnam War and government overreach ending up, like, hampering the U.S. military's ability to win the war effectively.
Yeah. And because everything is on being attacked at all times, and the government and police the military and the police are being sent to crack down on people's homes, there's not very much oversight.
Mm-hmm.
So when the movie starts off with a police raid, we follow one or two good police officers. There's also another police officer who just goes full bore fucking nuts, screaming racial slurs, kicking in doors, and shooting every ethnic minority he sees. And so, of course, the good cops that we're following are like, well, fuck, and they just shoot him in the back.
This sounds super Vietnam War commentary.
Yeah. I don't think that's what Romero intended. I think Romero's intent was just to say, like, people in bad situations can't be relied upon.
Right.
Romero's commentary was on consumerism, not the Vietnam War with Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, I know. It just sounds way too... what's the word I'm looking
Snafu?
for?
Situation normal, all fucked up?
No, I'm looking for, like, a word that applies to a situation really well.
Clusterfuck.
No, never mind.
Waco, Texas.
Oh my
God. I mean, I'm not wrong. There's some fucking crazy shit that went on out there.
Yeah, I was just looking for a word that's like, the theme applies to a certain situation really, really well. Like a word for that. I can't remember which word it was. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Is that, like, the themes that he has in there applies to Vietnam really well.
Command's lost its fucking mind?
I mean, beyond just, like, Command, there was also, like, a lot of soldiers just, like, breaking down and going crazy. For example, Saigon.
My Lai?
Yeah, like those examples.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of what you're describing sounds like it applies to Vietnam.
Yeah, so Romero's depiction of the way things go down is that it takes almost no time for for America to turn into a Vietnam War against itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Day of the Dead also kind of follows along like the entire idea of Romero's zombies is the zombies aren't a problem at all, but we just fuck ourselves up.
Yeah.
Day of the Dead follows along similar lines. Like they could sit in that bunker for as long as they want. The zombies can't get in.
Mm.
But they all get so stir crazy and they all hate each other and they're all suspicious of each other's motives, so they turn on each other.
I feel like you would actually like Train to Busan, because Train to Busan does a lot of that stuff where like the zombies are not really a problem so much as the other people that you're stuck with inside this little train are the problem.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously like anti-capitalist stuff. For example, there's a COO on the train who is like the most absurdly evil person ever.
I don't know that I would say Dawn of the Dead was straight up anti-capitalism so much as it was like mindless shopping mall consumerism.
Yeah, I just meant like it has like certain thematics that, yeah.
It's kind of one of the interesting things about it, 'cause like most zombie settings do boil down to people are the real problem, you know?
Right.
And with Romero, it's miscommunication is the problem. With Walking Dead, it's greed, is the problem, and pride. Because in Walking Dead, it's always the different survivor enclaves going to war with each other over stupid bullshit reasons like, I want your land.
Yeah. In Train to Busan, it's mostly selfishness that's the problem. And like only seeing like way out as opposed to like a way out for everybody else. And what's really interesting is that the main character suffers through that for like 80% of the movie before he finally like turns good and redeems himself. So like you're following like an irredeemable asshole for most of the movie, which is really interesting.
All right. Well, what would you say is the problem with humans in Last of Us?
With humans in Last of Us,
Yeah.
I mean,
Not knowing how to golf.
Yeah. Golf ball or skull? Which works better?
lack of respect for human life.
Yeah, that's probably a big part.
I feel like that's kind of the theme throughout, right? Like with cannibal.
That I could say that. I could say that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even further into Last of Us 2, which we can certainly have our issues with, but they still kind of follow around that idea.
Yeah, and like with like them sacrificing at the chance that maybe they could get a cure.
Yeah, Joel sacrificing literally everyone not named Ellie in exchange for Ellie.
Yeah, so it's just like about the lack of value of human life. I feel would be the most important central thing, beyond obviously the father-daughter relationship and like what a father is willing to do for his kids.
Yeah, but Joel was a piece of shit before he had a daughter figure.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to ask. You did say you're interested in Day of the Dead. What is it that like? What would you say you're looking for in that movie? Because I can tell you whether or not that's the movie.
I mean, I kind of know the plot already, and that's why, and the plot just interests me. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would go ahead and recommend to watch Dawn of the Dead as well if you get the opportunity. Even though it sounds like a very generic zombie film, I think it's a very well executed one.
Is it black and white? I know like Day of the Dead isn't black and white, but is Dawn of the Dead?
No, it's in color, and it's actually got they kind of make the visuals look very comic book-esque, despite the fact that it's live action filmed in color.
Okay, I'll have to watch that. I might also watch the James Gunn movie if I can figure out a way to watch it.
The James Gunn movie is a little more kind of stereotypical horror with lots of blood and gore and random deaths.
Yeah, obviously I can't watch any of this with my girlfriend. She really hates blood and gore.
She could watch Night of the Living Dead, because Night of the Living Dead's not really bad about gore, but like Dawn of the Dead, you see a couple people get torn apart on screen. Day of the Dead, you see a lot of people get torn apart very, very, very visibly.
Viscerally.
That too, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like we watched Battle Royale like last week, and she got really upset at me for having had her watch
Battle
that.
Royale is also kids, so
Yeah, that's true. I was like, well, you're a fan of the Hunger Games, so
admittedly, Katniss never chops anyone's head off
on screen.
on screen. Oh yeah, murder's
Yeah.
okay if it's off screen.
Yeah, in the movies, like a bunch of kids get like killed, but like it doesn't happen on screen. It mostly happens with like shaky cam, and you're like seeing, like a bunch of stuff happening, but you don't know what stuff is happening.
I only watched the first movie, but I do remember Katniss sniping some mofos.
Yeah, which is different because it's bow and arrow, and then you just shoot them.
Yeah, it's
And,
not
like,
it's not as personal when it's from a distance.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same idea of like movies having a bunch of faceless villains.
Yeah, except
Like,
the faceless villains are kids who are fighting for their own lives.
Yep.
Oh boy. What else was there? Right, so I finished, in air quotations, my campaign of Total War Medieval 2 with Holy Roman Empire, which is to say, I gave the fuck up because that was a lot of spinning plates. Because, oh boy, you remember how I said I thought the Holy Roman Empire would be one of the more difficult campaigns because you start in the middle of the map?
And I disagreed with you.
Yeah, I start off the game. Venice has declared war on you. Milan has declared war on you. The Papal States have declared war on you. Poland has declared war on you. France has declared war on you.
Yeah. Did you ever like try to do any diplomacy?
I couldn't because the Pope excommunicated me.
Why?
Because he declared war on me. Because
What
he was
did you
allied
do?
with Venice, and Venice declared war on me.
Why didn't you do more diplomacy then? You like the first thing I do in any Med 2 is I just go around with my diplomat and like make treaties as soon as possible with every person I can find. And I feel I just don't get declared very much at all in Medieval 2.
Okay, I guess I didn't know about that. Well, I really don't like the Medieval 2. Makes you have to send a diplomat around. That's so obnoxious. Like, there's a reason why Shogun 2 was like, fuck it, you can just send letters.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, Venice declared war on me. Not turn 1, but probably turn 5 or turn 6. Like, it wasn't even that they were lacking for territory. I guess it's probably just classic Total War AI sees a weak city and is like, oh, declare war.
Yeah.
So they just saw a city that I didn't have much of a garrison sitting in, and they're like, oh, war. Here you go.
And the HRE does start with like a very spread out like provinces, right?
Yes, you start off
And
with
you
an isolated city in Italy, Florence.
Yeah, and you have to like take all of the rebel areas to like really get your attached.
And the trouble is that every rebel area available for Holy Roman Empire is competing with someone else.
Right.
Your rebel areas in the west will get taken by France. Your rebel areas in the east will get taken by Poland and Hungary. Your rebel areas in the south will be taken by all the Italian city-states.
Yeah.
Which
I'll have to try an HRE campaign whenever I get my. Well, I just don't have anything to set it up on.
What was I going to say? I did my best with what I was given. I did wind up conquering pretty much the entirety of the Italian peninsula, and I killed the Pope 5 times. Fucker kept coming back though.
Yeah, that was one problem with Medieval. Was the Pope was just a humongous asshole, and you can't get rid of him ever.
Yep.
5 times.
Yeah, he ran off to Corsica. He ran off to fucking Corsica. I chased him out there, took the place over. That was his last settlement. So he would, like, the Papal States should be gone as a faction, but it was a guarantee. Every 5 turns, a new Pope would spawn there alone, with no army. It's just the Pope. So I'd have to stroll my army out to kill him again and go back to the city. The Pope just appears in the Corsican countryside and he just gets cut down by cavalry.
Yeah.
Shit, there's another Pope in the wilderness. Send out the cavalry. It's like we gotta call a hunt every year. It's the Great Pope Hunt. And of course, no one was willing to even, and it got to the problem of, because I took over all the Pope's cities, because taking Rome is a victory condition for Holy Roman Empire, by the way. You have to do it. So I took over Rome. The Pope, would never even pretend to consider any kind of diplomacy. Which, old Total War AI was even more dickish than modern Total War AI. Where, they'll have one army left in one settlement, and you will be a 30 army, 30 settlement nation. And they'll send a diplomat over and be like, hey, bitch, clearly I'm winning this. You want to become my vassal? No.
Yeah. Regarding the Pope, I think CK2 did a really good job with the Pope, where you could,
set up anti-popes?
Set up your anti-Pope, and then if you took over, you can install your anti-Pope as the official Pope.
The entire latter half of my recordings playing Holy Roman Empire, I was like, fuck, why can't I just set up an anti-pope? I have the Vatican.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I am super excited for CK3 when that comes out very soon.
I'm super excited for when the 80-12-12 mod gets finished for Attila. Because that one, that seems like it's going to be real good.
Yeah. I really wish I made any money at all right now, because I have so many games I want to buy.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
But unfortunately, I am making just enough money to pay rent and buy food.
Well, you should at least be happy about that. So.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
All right. What else is there? I did something else this week at some point. Oh, right. So, QuakeCon is going on. I don't really care, but there's a big sale. So, I bought a whole shit ton of classic FPSs. Hexen, Heretic, Wolfenstein, Quake. Whole shitload of them. So, I played Wolfenstein 3D for the first time. Pretty much the original FPS. I think there was technically one or two that came before, but Wolfenstein 3D, for all intents and purposes, that's the real true FPS, right? And, one thing, that game is old. Very old. And almost all the sound effects are kind of that, old, SNES era, kind of fart noises, sound effects, you guys know?
Yeah.
And it's really funny because they tried to give voices to the German soldiers that you're killing. But this was the early 90s. So they all just shout, you'll just open a door and the Nazis will all just turn to you and shout, Heil Hitler! And then they start shooting at you.
I was speaking with Wolf 3D.
Yeah, Wolfenstein 3D.
I think they yell, Wir lieben.
Wir lieben, right? And whenever I kill the big blue ones, they just shout mine, and then they die. So classic Germany. There were a couple things I found amusing about this one. This being the first FPS, I found it very weird. The AI actually scrambles a little bit when you walk in on them. Almost no games have the AI enemies actually get surprised by you entering the room. And it never quite occurred to me until I played that game how weird that is, that the AIs were just always oh, it's him, shoot. It kind of makes Wolfenstein 3D a bit easy unless you're facing off against a boss. Because you just open up the door and there's 3 Nazis in there and they're all oh, fuck! And you just shoot them all. I mean, that's probably the realistic reaction. I don't think they were all just holding their guns and waiting for, especially considering you're in their base just having been a prisoner. I don't think they'd be waiting at the door there's going to be an American in there right now.
I can feel it.
Oh, he's coming. Oh, man. This was also the first stealth FPS, believe it or not. The very first. Though, not exactly the most in-depth, because it's literally just, oh, once a Nazi sees you, he forever knows where you are, and the only extent of stealth mechanics is, if you're behind them, they don't notice you. But hey, stealth.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, this is back in the day when Metal Gear 1 was as advanced as stealth got, so hey. What else was there that I was going to say? Oh, I found it very amusing. For one thing, it's an old game, so you collect score and get lives, which makes no sense, and the game has a saving system, so that you can save and load at any point, so you can save scum as much as you please.
Yeah.
And if you die and have to go with a new life, you lose all of your gear. So why have a lives system if people can just save scum?
Because then how will you lose your Metal Gear?
Oh. And I think id figured out that didn't really work, because when they moved on to Doom, yeah, Doom didn't have a lives system or a score system. It does kind of crack me up, though, how you get score in this game?
How?
Collecting Jewish gold that's been confiscated.
Ah,
Yeah.
the realistic way, I see.
Yeah, it's realistic. I mean, it's grim, but yeah, it's realistic. And boy, they got a lot of stolen gold shit lying around. The Nazis were real fucking kleptomaniacs. I enjoy the classic good old comic book trope of bullshit Satanist cyborg Nazis. And Wolfenstein has that going on in spades.
Yep.
The very first boss you fight is a giant cyborg Nazi with miniguns for arms named Hans. Yeah, they didn't give a shit to actually learn anything about German culture when making this game. Of course they didn't.
Why would they?
Yeah. Man. It's a classic game, though. The other ones, I put just a little bit of time. Like, I beat the first chapter of Wolfenstein. The other ones I didn't put so much time into. Oh, I did finish the first chapter of Quake 1. Quake 1's an entertaining little game. It very visibly builds upon the innovations of Doom. And John Carmack was, stretching his legs there and really getting to show off how much of a big coder man he is. So not only is the map made up of intricate 3D shapes, you can now jump.
Cool.
Ooh.
Oh my god. This changes everything. You still can't look up or look down, though!
That's too advanced.
Yeah. Which technically, aren't Doom and Quake actually just technically 2D games that Carmack made in such a way that they fool you into thinking they're 3D?
Yes.
Yep.
Kind of.
Which is why Doom never at any point has two parts of the level vertically overlap.
Yeah.
Ha! I love it. Old video games, Isn't like pretty much all of 3D gaming built upon John Carmack's innovations in those games? I think it is. What was I going to say? Right, so it's classic Quake. One thing that is very weird about it is I can't tell if the enemies are sprites or actual 3D models. They
Both.
Yeah, I think they may be both. Because they're animated like sprites. They're like Doom enemies in terms of how they animate. They'll have a walking animation that's only 2 frames, right? Left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg.
I forget. What we didn't know is that John Carmack actually developed Guilty Gear Xrd and used that technology beforehand on Quake.
Yeah, you're actually super right. Yeah. I genuinely can't tell if they're sprites or not. I have to open the game up again and see if I can walk around an enemy, see if it just kind of turns it into a new frame of animation, or if I actually am going around him. It never occurred to me to check while I was playing the game. The enemy, because they have such stilted animations despite being 3D models, the enemies remind me a lot of the middle monsters from Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. You know how the Puppet Master in Spooky's was a 3D model?
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of that. Good game, though. Good classic FPS in the style of Doom. Had John Romero left id by that point? I think he had. I feel like I remember Quake 1 being mostly Carmack's baby rather than anyone else's. Which makes sense, because that game's got no fucking story whatsoever. John Carmack famously once said that story in video games is like story in porn. You expect it to be there, but it shouldn't be good. Or something like that. And he very famously got into fights with, what's his face? The guy from Doom 1 who made a complete story. He made the Doom Bible for Doom. And he wanted the game to be a partly story-based game. And Carmack and him just had it out constantly, and eventually the guy left.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't know.
Man, the Doom team is weird how it's like an all-star dev team that we actually know all this about, rather than just like, one or two guys, you know?
Yeah.
Because with most dev teams, it's just like, oh, hey, Hideo Kojima. We don't know about anyone else, but here's Kojima.
Kojima
Yeah.
personally drew Quiet's ass.
Nowadays, the developers don't get a lot of attention. It's mostly the directors who get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Like Corey Barlog.
I mean, even with Doom, like, John Romero is probably the closest that game had to a director, and John Romero is probably the biggest legend there, except for Carmack's technical innovations.
Yeah.
I
guess there is, what's the guy who works for Mark Cerny. Mark Cerny's kind of a celebrity as well.
Yeah.
In terms of game developing.
Yeah. American McGee, like, went on... Was American McGee the director or just the art designer for Alice?
Good question.
He's another one to come out of the Doom team, by the way. It really was an all-star team. It's very weird. I think one of the guys, Sandy Peterson, went on to make Call of Cthulhu, the tabletop game.
Ah.
Weird shit, huh?
Yeah.
I played just a little bit with Quake 2. I just played the first level. And my god, there is a jump there. A massive one. Like, which came first, Quake 2 or Half-Life?
I think Quake 2, but I'm not sure.
I'm looking it up. Just to be safe.
You look up Quake 2 release day, I'll look up Half-Life release day.
Okay, Quake 2 came out in December of 97.
Half-Life came out in 1990.
1990 what?
1998 was when Half-Life came.
Oh, so Quake 2 came first. All right. So, yeah, Quake 2 was stupidly innovative, which I guess was Carmack again showing off his technical prowess. You could look up, you could look down, you could crouch.
Wow.
You could swim. There was water. Oh my god. The enemies were fully animated 3D models. Not just 2 frames of animation.
Mm-hmm.
There was an actual plot. There was a thing that would tell you what the objective was. Which seems absurd now, but in 97, having an ability to just pull up a menu that's like, hey, you should go do this, was crazy at the time.
Yeah.
And it's like Half-Life, where it kind of, even though your character doesn't speak, and there's no named characters who stick around for very long because everybody's dying real quick, there's still a narrative that can easily be formed here. And you can see things working out in such a way. There's a lot of show, don't tell going on, you know? And it's a good FPS, too! So, like, Quake 2 and Half-Life 1 both came out around the same time, and both of them pretty much overhauled the genre. They both made FPSs a lot less arcade, and started carrying them more towards the idea of them being, like, I hate the word immersive, but like immersive narrative experiences. Which of course would later build the path for Call of Duty, and Call of Duty also changed things entirely. So I find it very interesting to kind of see the progression there, even though I'm not particularly happy with Call of Duty, personally.
You don't like the Calls of Duty?
No, I mean no Call Duties.
You don't like when Daddy calls you?
Call Duties.
Call of Daddy.
Yeah. Oh god, the next one's gonna be a fetish game? Okay. I also got to play Quake 3, which is entirely different from Quake 2. No real single-player campaign to speak of. It's just multiplayer shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I was interested in getting it for everyone, but I was like, oh, this is an old shooter built around movement and doing crazy bullshit like rocket jumping, and it's on PC with mouse and keyboard. I don't think anyone would enjoy this game other than me. And lastly, the ones I got, I did get a Return to Castle Wolfenstein. I need to look into if the third Wolfenstein first-person shooter is on sale, because I'm interested in picking that one up too. But Return to Castle Wolfenstein came out in like 2002 or 2003, and it's a very interesting transition from classic shooters to Call of Duty style. It's very much got Call of Duty's kind of narrative realism style, but at the same time, we've got arcadey bullshit about, like, not only just a health meter existing at all in the first place, but you know an FPS is classically styled when it has a dedicated kick button.
Aha!
As Duke Nukem would call it, Mighty Foot. And you can use it to kick people, kick furniture, kick doors. And I gotta say...
dogs?
Yeah. I gotta say, any game is worth it where I can kick open doors, and it scares the shit out of people in the room.
In real life, the people who are in your room right now.
Yeah. As if trying to do that in real life wouldn't break my fucking foot.
Yeah.
But who gives a shit? This is Wolfenstein. Good old-fashioned B.J. Blazkowicz here to kill thousands of super satanic cyborg Nazis.
Yeah, BJ Blazkowicz is back to give everyone the BJ.
Oh yeah, baby.
He's gonna suck the Satan out of him.
Oh no. Like, just kick in Hitler's door. I'm gonna suck the devil out of you, boy. Oh god. What was it we once said, Addy? Zombie Satanist cyborg Nazis, and we kept going from there.
Something like that, yeah.
Alien zombie cyborg Satanist Nazis. One Wolfensteins did introduce aliens, didn't it?
Probably.
Oh man.
My favorite scene from one of the modern, my favorite scene from one of the modern Wolfensteins is when Hitler kills Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, because Hitler's like geriatric, and Ronald Reagan just comes up and he's like, "Hey, sir, do you need any help with your dinner?" And Hitler's just like, "Jewish spy!" Bang, bang, bang. And you can decide to not even kill Hitler, just leave him like that, because it's so much more humiliating for him to just be ancient and out of his mind.
Yep. That one, and then the Jimi Hendrix scene.
The Jimi Hendrix scene is a classic, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I need to actually finish those modern Wolfensteins. They're not half bad.
Yeah.
Not as good as the modern Dooms, but still pretty good. They're kind of
Just don't play Youngblood.
So I've heard. So, I mean, yeah, modern Wolfenstein is kind of like mixing old arcadey concepts with new Call of Duty. I think you'd really like that soon. That's more your thing, you know?
I tried one of the Wolfensteins. I'm not sure which one.
The recent ones were New Order, Old Blood, and New Colossus.
I think New Order, whichever one you start out in a blimp or something, and then you get chased by a robot dog.
Yes, New Order.
Okay. Yeah, I tried that one, didn't get past the tutorial.
The tutorial is surprisingly hard, so yeah. Alright. Did I do anything else this week? Oh, I did try to play Hexen and Heretic. And Heretic is so old that you cannot rebind the keys. Which is a problem.
Well, that's not good.
Which is a problem because movement is not naturally bound to WASD. It's bound to the mouse.
Ouch.
You move the mouse up to move forward. You move the mouse down to move backwards. You move the mouse left and right to turn. There is no strafing. There is no strafing.
You know,
it kind of sucks that, like, consoles still don't have, like, it standardized where you can remap the controls.
Yes, I don't understand how games can not come out with that feature nowadays.
It's just like, why?
Like, even if you're okay with the default control scheme, there are still better ways you can improve it for yourself, you know?
Yeah, like I just don't understand why that's not a thing on consoles.
I mean, it's one of the. I guess it'll be one of the upsides of PC and consoles becoming more and more alike. You know.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, I haven't downloaded it yet, but I am looking into Z Doom because I remember trying Z Doom once 10 years ago, but I was a kid and didn't really get it. And putting Z Doom on Heretic is probably the best way to get that game to actually be playable by humans. Addy, do you know if Z Doom would work with Heretic, since Heretic is very much based off of Doom's engine to begin with?
I don't know because I did never played Heretic.
Okay. Alright, well, I guess that's the end of what I did this week, because I can't think of anything else. Alright, I think we can call that a podcast.
Bye.
Damn it,
Already
Addy!
said bye.